Machine has appeared in homes across America.
Double and redouble his power. 32X.
6 times more powerful than 3DO.
Alright, baby.
40 times more than Super NES.
Hey, yo! There is no 32-bit Super NES. Are we gonna see the games or what? Show me!
Increase the power of the unit 40 times.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Poor Man's Retro Game Room, and you know, there's a lot of negative stuff out there about the Sega 32X, or at least there used to be. And I'm here to tell you that I actually love my Sega 32X, and there are some really good games on the 32X. And so what I wanted to do today was to give you the true Sega 32X experience. So we're going to check it out on the CRT back there, and we're going to check out 5 games that I really enjoy. And the cool thing about the 5 games I'm going to show you, with the exception of one, they are very affordable, they're very common, and they're great games to start your Sega 32X collection with. So, yeah, join me today and let's have some fun. Let's kick back in the game room and play some Sega 32X and talk Sega 32X. Alright. Just a quick reminder, we do have memberships available, and there is, members usually see the videos before anybody else do, and you can check that out on my channel page. You can buy me a cup of coffee if you'd like as well. And I will tell you that nothing here is scripted. I don't read a script, I just go. So, it's authentic, and sometimes I miss things, but man, I'd rather just talk to you and be authentic than to be fake. So alright, so without further ado, the first game that we're going to look at, and one of the first games that I got for my Sega 32X, which, by the way, I missed back in the day, and I collected for the Sega 32X and got the 32X about 5 years ago. And ever since then, it just has a soft spot in my heart. I've been really, it's cool to have that 32X capability, and it was something I missed out on, like I said, and you know, I always kind of wondered and was curious about it. So anyway, let's get started with the first game, one of the first games that I had for the Sega 32X, and that is Virtual Racing Deluxe. This is a really great way to play virtual racing. It's incredible, and you know, it was cool that they had it running on the Sega Genesis, but it's a whole different experience on the 32X, and they added a bunch of stuff to it. You can drive a formula car, you can actually drive a stock car, and then there's a prototype car. And man, it's challenging, don't get me wrong, it's really challenging, but it's a lot of fun, man. And it really does capture that arcade feel. The graphics are amazing, soundtrack is awesome, and of course the sounds, it's pulled right from the arcade. And it really does show that the 32X had some real arcade capability in it. You know, there could have been so much more done with the Sega 32X. Unfortunately, I don't believe it ever reached its fullest potential. But there's still some really great games on it, and Virtual Racing Deluxe is one of them. I can't recommend this enough, and I believe you can get it for under 20 bucks, loose anyway. But it's a really excellent racing game, and a great port of Sega Virtual Racing from the arcade. So that was the first one. And just by the way, Virtual Fighter it is a really great port as well. And then speaking of arcade ports, this one is probably runs you around 40 to 50 bucks loose, but it's Afterburner Complete, and I only have this one loose. Afterburner Complete is another example of how the 32X just was a great port from those Sega arcade games. And you know, no, you don't have the sit-down cockpit that you had in the arcade, which made that experience amazing. And you know, I'm not really great at Afterburner, but man, I have a lot of fun, and it's really one of those games that you can pop in for, you know, 20 minutes to an hour, or however long you want to play it. But if you only have a limited amount of time, it's a great game to pop in and just play, especially if you've been kind of nostalgic for going into the arcade back in the day and playing Afterburner. It is a fantastic game, and it's very challenging as well. I would say it's got that arcade difficulty built in, but the more you play it, the better you're going to get at it. And it's just a pleasure to play, man. It's great to play and actually have that soundtrack, while you're playing, listening to that, and all the sounds from the arcade. Graphics are amazing on it. It's a great super scaler, and man, it really did unlock the power of the Sega 32X as far as the super scaling went and 3D, capability. It's awesome, man. And it's a really great game to show off to a friend who, thought the 32X was just, a big failure and there wasn't any good games on it. And of course we know that's not true. And so these first three are basically pulled right out of the arcade. And this one is a similar price. Might be able to get it for a few dollars cheaper. But it's my favorite way of playing this game. And of course that's Space Harrier. And you can see a little damage done to my cartridge. Man, I don't care. I own this one loose as well. Complete in box, the price goes up for Space Harrier and Afterburner. But man, Space Harrier is amazing on the 32X. It's such a pure arcade experience. It's near arcade perfect from what I can tell, and it's just amazing. The soundtrack, of course, again, excellent. And you know what, sometimes cleaning the game room or organizing some stuff or whatever, I don't mind popping in Space Harrier on the 32X and just listening to the soundtrack. But it has more to offer than that. It's another one of those arcade, like super scaler type of games, and man, it does it very, very well. The frame rate is just excellent, buttery smooth, and the explosions, the graphics, the sounds, the soundtrack, like I said, just incredible. And it's a very, very good experience at home on your Sega 32X. Alright, so the next game that I wanted to talk about is Shadow Squadron. This is a really, really good game, and it's playing the demo mode back there on the CRT. And what's kind of cool about this one is I've got the rental sticker, and man, doesn't that bring back awesome memories of going to the rental store and picking up a game and taking it home. And this one is, well, I guess it must have been in demand. It's a one-day rental. But it is an excellent game. It's I don't know, it's immersive, first of all. It really sucks you in. I love the intro of it. There's two different ships that you can choose from, which extends the gameplay value to me, the replay value. You can play through on either ship. One of them's kind of fast but not quite as powerful. The other one's bigger and it has a really powerful energy boost to its cannon that you can use a few times anyway, as long as you got the energy to use it. It's free flying. I mean, it's just free roaming, and it's really cool, man. You take some really big ships down in Shadow Squadron, you just annihilate them. You find kind of their weak points and just hammer on it, and of course they've got fighters coming at you too, so you got to deal with them. And as the story progresses, it gets really, really good, and it does get more difficult as it goes on, but it's beatable. It's a beatable game. And man, you'll find yourself playing this game and all of a sudden an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours escapes before you even know it. You can really get into this one, and it's just a lot of fun, man. Kind of brings back some nostalgia for some of those old space shooters that you would play on the PC back in the day. Kind of reminds me of that. But it's a great experience. I highly recommend it. And it's another common game, and I got mine man, I want to say like $40 with the box, and there's some instructions in there too, but I think they were the rental instructions that that the rental store must have printed out and just kind of stuck them in there. But it's cool, man. It's a common game. You can pick it up on eBay, and you can usually get it pretty cheap. But keep your eyes open for this one if you have a 32X. And then there's another game, and it's probably my favorite Sega 32X game. And I'm going to give you kind of a pro tip here as well. I've got the Mega EverDrive, and that's how I play this game. I had the cartridge, the physical cartridge loose, but it was so expensive I ended up selling it to purchase some other games, and especially when I got my Mega EverDrive, which you can load up with 32X ROMs and play it on your Mega EverDrive. And that's how we're going to check out Blackthorn for the Sega 32X. This game's a lot more expensive, and especially if you're going to go complete in box. However, this is a great investment. The Mega EverDrive, and mine's the X3, but it plays 32X games flawlessly. There's no problem at all. It's awesome. I'm really glad that I invested in that. I've only had it for probably under a year now, and you know, when I got it, I'm like, man, I can sell that cart and get some games that I've been wanting and kind of holding off, and I actually did that. But I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't have sold it if I wouldn't have had another way of playing it. And there's also another way of playing Blackthorn for the 32X, and even on the Super NES version, and that's the Blizzard Arcade Classic Collection that you can get on most of the modern platforms nowadays. And it's fairly cheap. You can get Lost Vikings, Blackthorn, the two different versions of Blackthorn, and then even a definitive version of Blackthorn, which is cool. And there's some other games on there, but it's a really good collection. Rock and Roll Racing is on that collection as well. Highly recommend that collection if you're into Blizzard games back then, or if you just want a cheaper way of playing Blackthorn. Man, it's out there, and it plays great on the Switch. That's how I play that Blizzard Arcade Collection. Handheld, on the go, and you can put it on your TV. Looks great, plays great. So just kind of a pro tip, maybe to save you a little money. But Blackthorn on the 32X is a little different. There's a few extra levels to it. And it's just awesome, man. I played the heck out of that. I made a few videos on it, when I had it back in the, a couple years ago. It's an excellent game. It's one of my favorite games, and it is my favorite Sega 32X game. There's also, there's a Sonic game for the 32X, and I just haven't really got into that one. It's, some of the controls are a little different, and you have to kind of get used to it. But there's some good platformers, like Tempo, I believe, is the one that's a pretty colorful platformer. There's some good games for the Sega 32X. So I recommend the Sega 32X if you can find one, and get a deal on it. Make sure you get all the hookups, because you want to do a little research on your cables and all that you're going to need. So do that. But you can also grab you a Mega EverDrive if you got the 32X and have the full 32X library available to you. There's some pretty cool mech games as well. Metalhead I actually like. I know it gets panned a lot, but I like it a lot. But anyway, there you go, the Sega 32X, man. I recommend it. There's a lot of fun to be had with the Sega 32X. Don't count it out, man. It's a lot of fun, and I enjoy mine immensely. So there you go. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for sticking around to the end of this video, man. I appreciate it. And until next time, we'll catch you later.